Hello and welcome back. Welcome to On Your Mind podcast, the podcast where we talk about elevating ourselves mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all the great things. And for today's episode, it's actually episode 11, and we are going to be talking about meditation and the importance it's kind of had in my life and why I think it's so important for you to implement it in yours. What exactly is meditation and how do you actually meditate? So buckle in. Before we do go ahead and start this episode, let's cue the intro music. All right, you guys, so going into this, I do want to talk about what exactly meditation is. So meditation is a mental practice that helps promote your focus as well as your peace and also just your awareness in regards to one being. And I know with me, when it comes to meditation and how much I do it, I, as of recently, honestly haven't done it. And I say that because I've just been so busy. You know, it's the time of the year, the holidays, it gets very busy around this time of the year. So I haven't really prioritized that. And with doing so, I honestly have felt something in me to tell me to meditate. And I feel like it's important for us to listen to what exactly our mind and our body is telling you. And with meditation, it's a time for you to kind of focus on yourself as well as just having that time of peace, that time to focus. And that's exactly what my body needs. And something that I've realized with meditation is I love meditating in the morning. That's just the best and what I have seen just work for me because it just flows so naturally. I feel like it just sets the tone for the whole day. So just kind of, sometimes we could get up in a rush and we just feel like we get out of bed, we hurry up and put our hair up, we're realizing we're running late, we throw whatever on. And then, our whole day is set from there. Then we're stuck in traffic. And that has set the tone of your day, your morning. I know we're not supposed to let things like that determine our whole day, but sometimes it does, right? So that's where I have really loved meditation when I would do it every single day, was it set the tone for my day. For me, if you were to ask me personally, what would be my ideal morning? It would be waking up earlier to have time for myself, as in meditate, journal, then I hit a workout, and then after that, just like eat a nutritious breakfast. That is setting the tone of your day, and I really like that. And the good thing about that is meditation requires you not to rush and just honestly just unwind and take time for this, of course. And I know with meditation, a lot of people do ask, like, how long should I meditate for? Or things like that. It could be 5 to 10 minutes. It really depends on you. I'll touch base on that later on, but I've just really loved starting my day. I know some people like it at night. Some people say they meditate in their bed and they fall asleep while meditating. And I honestly haven't tried that. So it just depends on you, which one you like. I definitely push to try either one and see. But me, I love just a fresh morning, a fresh start. So that's just where meditation has always worked for me. So as far as it goes with that, as I mentioned, I recently have started feeling something within me telling me to get back into meditating. And as we're on the topic of meditation and why I love it, I love the fact that it's a form of self-care. I know we tend to forget that sometimes, but it really is. Just as we do skincare, just as we, nourish our body mentally, physically, emotionally, this does that just as much. And the biggest thing for me is I have found that I love the fact that you don't need your phone. This is where you put your phone to the side, you escape the outside world before you go outside of your house. Wherever it is that you meditate, you are in your zone and you don't need, this is where you block the outside world and you really tune in with yourself, your breathing and everything like that, to where I feel like that's just, it gives you a time of peace. And that's just was something that was really big for me, and how I realized why I feel like it's so important for people to meditate when it comes to their success. And I don't mean success in just a way of finance or things like that, but a success in every part of their ways. Because whenever you are meditating and you're putting in that self-care in that way, whether it is with like relationships or friendships or those around you. I feel like meditation definitely helps you center yourself and just be a better version of you. And that just honestly implements everything around you. So when I first started meditating and how I really even got into it, I realized that I just had an inner voice telling me I need to slow down. Girl, slow down. I know I just always found my brain running at 100 miles per hour. And I know in a world that's just so fast paced and also so influential, we tend to have the outside world always beaming in into us and who we are, what we should be, how we should act, and what they really expect of us. And also, I'm also a social media manager where my job is to always be online, to where it was just, whoa, girl, slow down. And this is where I listened to my inner voice, and it told me like I need time for myself. At this time of my life, it was very like such a rough patch where that's where I moved away from home and I knew nobody. And I found myself going to yoga. That was just kind of like my comfort spot, was always yoga. And you know how you tend to meditate when you do go, whether it is 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whenever we would meditate and the instructor would kind of lead it on our meditation of, listening to her voice and for what we should picture and affirmations. Whenever I would finish meditating, I felt like an ultimate bliss. I just felt so different. Like my body felt so light, so airy, and I just felt so different. That's just the best I could describe it. And after that, like my fascination with it really grew. And that's whenever I went to the bookstore and I checked out books of meditation, how to meditate, because I didn't know. Why I didn't look up YouTube videos back then, I'm not sure. But I checked out a book about that, as well as energy and your chakras. And whenever I do say this, I don't mean that was just my spiritual journey, right? And where I was at. You don't need to know about all of that in order to meditate. But that's just something that I really wanted to know and tune in to my spiritual journey, as everyone's is personal and different. And that just kind of helped me kind of tune in to myself and exactly how I want my practices to go. So definitely don't need to go that route. So that's just kind of how my meditation started. I didn't want to just do it every time I go to yoga. I wanted to create a safe haven for myself of where I could just connect with myself. And this could be many different places for everyone of where exactly they want to meditate. And that's honestly the crazy part, is it just never occurred to me that we should all have a moment in our day where we shut off all of our thoughts. And I honestly at first had the biggest struggle turning off my thoughts and simply focusing on the practice at hand. Like, meanwhile, because there is apps that will go ahead and guide you through your meditation. And meanwhile, I have this person telling me, oh, envision the grass is green, the waterfalls, and things like that. I'm over here thinking, what should I cook for dinner? Should I cook some mac and cheese? Did I forget to do this? Oh, I need to go ahead and do that. Let me not forget. And it was so hard. And that's definitely one thing about me. I am always constantly thinking of how I feel, why I feel, and I would just kind of get consumed by that instead of the actual practice. And luckily at that time, my friend group all meditated. So we would all sit there and talk about tips and tricks like, oh, this has worked for me. This has not worked for me. I recommend this. Have you tried that? And that honestly really helped, because we would also all go to yoga classes and meditate and remind each other like, oh, did you meditate today? And I always found that so cute in a way of making sure that your friends have meditated. It's kind of like, hey girl, like, have you checked in with yourself? Are you peaceful? Are you focused? Are you present and things like that? So I really like that. So after meditating with friends, as well as doing it through yoga, I wanted to meditate myself. And, again, that's just where I struggled, where I just couldn't really picture myself in the forest and the waterfalls. What really worked for me was picturing myself in an all white, endless room. I don't know if this has to do with my ADHD, just not being able to focus, but this really helped because it also says to picture a lit candle in the middle of that room. And I really like that analogy because I would then picture myself as being the candle. And also it helped me just focusing on my breath, because of course breathing is such a huge part of meditation. So when I would come with me being my eyes closed, of course, and me in my seated position, I then would picture, I would feel the air hitting my nose. I then would just picture it going into my system and just feeling my lungs expand. And after that, I would then, do the whole thing again, breathing in, feeling the air through my nose, and then just filling up my lungs and feeling them expand. And the good thing about that is it helps you focus on your breathing. And then that just kind of takes your mind away from anything else of like, oh, did I forget this? Let me do that later on. So that would be my main focus in just kind of turning off my thoughts. So I did want to share with you guys just kind of the benefits that meditation does have to the mind and the body. And a few would be like stress reduction, improved mental clarity and focus, emotional well-being, better sleep, enhanced creativity, physical health, as well as mind-body connection. We know that's so important. Cultivating patience and compassion, increased self-awareness, a sense of peace. The list could seriously go on of just how amazing this is for your mental, emotional, physical health, and just how much that will improve different things in your life. So just as much as I love sharing the benefits, I do want to answer some questions that people may have in regards to meditation, or if you already meditate, maybe you didn't know one. But just starting off, I feel like a good one would be, where is a good place to meditate? And I feel like in simple answer, it's anywhere where no one can bother you. So this could be the bedroom, as well as your car, the backyard. Honestly, like personally for me, I love the backyard, the room, and even then the sauna. And I know there's people in the sauna, but as long as I have my headphones that are noise cancellation, I'll go ahead and put some sounds on Spotify that's like nature, whether it is the waves. I love the ocean. So that's something that really keeps me zen. Or even then you could put rain sounds or a rainforest, whatever helps you. That is your place to do it. So following that, how long should one meditate for? So I love this because it really just depends on you. Like, listen to your body. Of course, like 5 to 10 minutes. But the reason why I say to listen to your body is because there's some days where you're just not feeling it. And that's perfectly normal. I don't want anyone to put a time frame on their meditational practice, because while you're meditating, you're wondering, has 5 minutes passed? Have 10 minutes passed? Like, your mind will be on that and you'll want to check your phone. And then you're, at that point, you're basically zoned out. But what I do recommend is putting a timer, because then you're not so focused on the time. Oh, has 5 minutes passed? Because once you hear your alarm go off, you'll then know, and you're not so worried on that type of thing. But also going back to listening to your body, there's times where you don't want to meditate, and that's perfectly fine. I know me, there's been times where I just can't focus. Like, there's just so much going on in my mind. So what I'll do is I'll maybe journal before I meditate, then I'll journal, and that tends to work. Or even then, I'll then just push it to later on in my day. Like, you know what? Right now is not the time. It's perfectly okay. I am going to do this later on in my day. And, it tends to work that way. Something else that's very common in regards to meditation is, what should I be thinking about? Which is, a big question to ask, because that is so true. What should you be thinking about? And honestly, nothing. That's the point of it, is just simply nothing. And that just goes back to you, focusing on your breathing in, breathing out, making sure you are feeling it through your nose and your lungs. That's honestly something that will help you simply think of nothing. And that's why it does help you focus, and it helps you be at peace, because at this moment, you are tuning everything out and just simply really feeling yourself. And there's different ways to meditate. There's some people who have like mindful meditation, so they'll go ahead and do it with their mind. There's people who do body meditation. I know for me, like, I like that because it then makes me think about my body. I like to feel, focus on my heart beating. I then think about my breathing. I then think about like the blood rushing through my body, and it just helps me really feel present and alive and at peace once I am finished with my meditational practice. And let's say you are trying to meditate and you start feeling like, I can't do this. Just know that is perfectly normal. That's perfectly okay. I feel like every person who has meditated has felt in some way or shape this exact thing. And I feel like that's where setting realistic expectations is so helpful, because you don't have to do it that day. I hope you know that, as well as you don't have to do it perfectly. I feel like the goal for that is consistency instead of focusing on perfection when it comes to your meditation. You could also use apps. I know Calm is a very popular one, and as I mentioned, there's also Headspace, and using those resources do help you kind of do your practices, because I know whenever I would use Headspace in the beginning of meditation on that app, it makes you focus on your breathing and it kind of takes you through it. So, you're kind of getting the gist of what exactly meditation is. And then once you kind of master that, you can then do it on your own and you won't need an app to actually help you with it. And just going full circle, join groups and join classes. It goes back to when I said about me meditating with friends, as well as joining yoga. Like, I really owe it all to yoga and it really transpiring into curiosity what exactly meditation is. I'm so excited to bring this back into my daily routine and just being more mindful with myself and feeling more connected. I feel like there's no better project than you investing in yourself, and this is just a form of self-care. Other than that, you guys, thank you so much. Like, I can't describe. I know I say thank yous like 20 times before I end the episode, but I genuinely mean it from the bottom of my heart. How much y'all's love and support truly does push me through this journey as well. And I wouldn't be here without you guys doing this. But other than that, I will see you guys next Tuesday. And of course, don't forget to stay mindful. Bye, you guys.